A while back, a new coworker asked me for some help on her QlikView app. I hadn't met her, and worse, she didn't know about me yet. I sat down and she proudly showed me what she called her spider chart. Being the tactful and polite jerk that I am, I blurted out, "That's terrible." Even though I still feel bad to this day for my lack of tact, it was true. That spider chart had to go. You need to follow a couple rules if you're going to make a pie chart. First, they're meant to show proportions that add up to 100%. 14% of 141% of people is just squirrely math. There's an upper limit to the number of slices that a pie chart can have and still be useful. Don't use a dimension that has more than 4 or 5 values. Finally, there's probably a better way to display the information. Think about pies the same way that we think about gauges. Start with the theory that one is too many. That said, let's build one anyway. To get a clean sheet to work with and not lose anything we've done so far, click on Layout and Add Sheet. You'll get a new tab that your users can use to navigate the app. Now think about what data you have that might fit our pie chart rules. From the data that we've looked at so far, country might be a good choice. It doesn't quite fit since we have data for 6 countries, but let's give it a shot. Right-click and add a new sheet object. Chart. Click on the icon that looks like a pie and click Next. The dimension is how the pie is divided. Choose Country, Add, and Next. Click on the Table drop-down. If I had to guess, I think the order number would be in the order header table. Go ahead and select it. Now you can look through the field list in the field drop-down. The field looks like it's called Sales Order Number. Instead of using the expression builder, let's type it out. Count, Sales, Order Number. Click OK, and Finish. Before we go on, let's try that frequency test that we learned about with the list box. Right-click and add a new list box. We'll choose Sales Order Number and click Show Frequency. Make sure to sort by frequency. We'll sort descending and click OK. You look and see that there's only one sales order number for each. Looks like we're OK. Let's delete that list box. Click on it and your delete key. If you hover over one of the slices of the pie, you'll see that the values are integers. Pies are really proportional charts, so let's fix it. Right-click and go to the Expressions tab. Properties, Expressions. Check the box that says Relative and click OK. Now hover over a slice. 2 things to note. The value is now in a percentage, but at 2 decimals is probably too precise for a pie chart. The label of the value is the expression we wrote, and that's just ugly. Go back to the Expression tab in the Properties. In the label box, let's give the values a name, something like % of orders. Now click on the Numbers tab. Change the format to integer and click OK. Now hover over Slice, and the pop-up is something that's readable. Also notice that in the title of the chart is the label of the expression. By default, QlikView uses the label of your first expression as a title. For now, let's remove it. Go to the General tab and uncheck Show Title and Chart. And click OK. Remember when we talked about titles and list boxes where the data is obvious? We can do the same with the legend in the chart. Go to the Dimensions tab, Dimensions, uncheck Label, and click OK. There's less stuff on the chart, but we didn't lose any comprehension. Make that a rule of thumb. If any part of your presentation doesn't add to understanding in some way, consider removing it. One way to make a pie chart show more information is to add values to the legend. Go back to the Presentation tab of the Properties, right-click, Properties, Presentation. Click Show Numbers in Legend and click OK. OK. What you've done is create a mini table inside the chart. If your users need that precision instead of the visual, get them to ditch the pie chart and just build a table. Remember that we build our apps to inform, not to entertain. Because I think it looks nice is not always a good reason to add something to your app. The last formatting that we'll do is to get rid of the special icons. Go to the Caption tab and uncheck the icons. And click OK. Before we move on, let's talk about something you'll be tempted to do. You'll invariably get asked to build a pie chart on a dimension that you know won't work, something like city. So let's build it. The easiest way is to copy the current one, and like everything else in QlikView, there are various ways to do it. You can right-click and choose Clone. It's not a bad way, but QlikView puts it almost on top of the first one. You can hardly see the difference. You can copy and paste in all the normal Windows ways, but QlikView puts it right on top of the first. Or my favorite, you can hold Control-Alt and drag it. Go back to the Dimensions tab of your copied chart. Remove Country with a double click. We can add City with a double click. And click OK. Now altogether, that's terrible. The temptation is to go to the Dimension Limits tab. Right-click, Properties, Dimension Limits. Click the Restrict box. Limit your slices to the largest 5. And click OK. It's still terrible. It gives the proportion of the largest 5 relative to each other, leaving out the rest. So you go back in and check Show Others. Right-click, Properties, Show Others, and click OK. It's sort of better because now you see the true proportions, but you can also click on the other slice to drill down. Now it leaves out your largest 5. It's a worse chart than the one with all the cities because now the results are flat out wrong. Just don't do it. We can make it right by deleting. Click on it and delete. We spent a lot of time on a marginally useful chart, but it was worth it because we learned skills that will help us with better options.